Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Brandon here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Brett, and he's selling his two-site package of affiliate and Amazon Associates businesses on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Brett, and how are you doing today?
Good, Brandon. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing great. Yeah, nice having you on the call today. I'm excited to talk to you about this business you've created. But before we get into the details about it, let's just go into a quick summary. So it's a two-site package of affiliate and Amazon Associates businesses, and it's in the news and education niche. Both sites were created around May 2015. And the average monthly revenue for the businesses is $25,664 and makes an average of $25,050 per month in net profit. For everyone listening, you can visit the empireflippers.com/marketplace URL and search for listing 47639 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, what's included in the sale is the primary domain and all site content and files, an additional domain and all site content and files, social media accounts including Facebook and Twitter, SOPs, an affiliate relationship, Upwork writer, and developer contracts. So Brett, can you tell me a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah. So I've been in digital marketing, specializing in SEO for about 5-6 years. And in working in that space, obviously realized that, I wanted to own my own websites and monetize them myself rather than doing it for someone else. And actually the company I was with before had a ton of assets and they weren't really utilizing them. And so I decided to get started through acquisition rather than building from scratch. And then over the last several years, I've just been using the knowledge that I've had from my SEO background and growing these sites. And yeah, that's kind of how I got started and how I got to where I am today.
Oh, that's really awesome. And then, so, I noticed it's a two-site package. Is there one site that's generating more of the revenue over the other?
Yeah, one site was more of a kind of an experiment site. They're in the same niche. And so I was able to run some different types of experiments on it to where I didn't have to risk my rankings or worry too much about, I didn't have a lot of traffic in the first place, whereas the other one that provides about 99% of the income, you don't want to make radical changes overnight and then something bad would happen, to your rankings the next day. And so it was acquired. I purchased that one to, kind of introduce different tests and then roll them out to my other site if they were to work, different SEO tests.
Okay. And so both of the sites then are primarily making money from, or generating revenue, I should say, from affiliate offers then?
Yeah, the smaller site has Amazon Associates account and it doesn't make too much on that. Like I said, the main site makes 99% of the revenue and that's all through affiliate relationships. Some of those are standard and some I have really good relationships with that I've, nurtured over the last 3-4 years. And so that relationship will continue with the buyer. It's something that I think is kind of invaluable. And the affiliate space is really nurturing those relationships to bring mutually beneficial, increased business for both of us. And so I have a couple partners like that really appreciate the work that I've been doing with them.
Yeah, no, that's really important to have those relationships established, especially when you're exiting the asset. Having those same relationships being able to carry on for a new buyer is, a really great opportunity for anyone looking at this business as well. And so, Brett, why did you end up choosing this niche then? Was there something during your SEO days that kind of stood out to you and you saw an opportunity to capitalize in this specific niche?
Yeah, I would say more so it's I was ready to take the leap and this was the opportunity that was presented to me. I think I obviously wouldn't have inquired and taken steps to acquire the business if I didn't think that it had room for growth. That was the primary mindset there. But I think the growth potential that I saw was more due to underutilization of the niche than specific growth in it. I do think now that I have acquired the site and have been growing it, I have seen opportunities for growth in it. Just what's happening in this space, without going into too much detail, I think new growth opportunities have presented themselves. But initially it was kind of, I was ready to take the leap, and this was the opportunity that I had. And so I jumped on it.
Okay. No, that's really great to see that you were able to grow this asset to the level that it has been grown since you took that leap. And so why is it now, Brett, that you're deciding to sell the business at this time?
To be honest, I am getting into a completely different industry, and I want to have some capital to deploy in that industry. I've decided that I don't want to be on a computer all day, every day. And so it's as simple as that. It's a great cash flow business. It does great for me, but just ready for the next challenge. And so I figured someone else can take this even further to the next step.
Yeah, no, you bring up a good point. Being able to let someone else kind of, take over and carry the torch and push this to the full potential is what a lot of sellers end up, kind of seeing as a benefit for them exiting the asset. Now, was there anything that you learned while you were growing this business that you plan on applying to future projects, Brett?
That's a good question. I think going back to my relationship with partners, just, it's not like I don't think of it as a customer relationship. That business relationship, we've really found mutually beneficial opportunities that have taken the sites to heights that I wouldn't have been able to achieve otherwise. So I think in any industry, when you're dealing with other businesses and people, really kind of going above and beyond for those relationships and letting them know that you want to work with them, you want to grow their business along with yours, I think is probably the biggest lesson I've got out of it.
Okay. And then on the flip side of that, was there anything that you had tried with this business and it just didn't give you the ROI that you were expecting?
Sure, there's different A/B tests that I've utilized, as simple as changing colors and buttons and things like that don't necessarily work out in my favor. Luckily, a lot of my trial and error being an SEO before I acquired these sites was, any big mistakes were made beforehand in my SEO experience there. That's why you're not seeing any big drops in traffic or anything like that. I didn't take any unnecessary risks to try and grow the site. I think especially in the affiliate space, people tend to have more of a short-sighted mindset, and it might work out, you might get a boost in traffic, but in the long run it always catches up to you. And I had seen that in other places, and in reading other people's experiences, I decided that I was going to take the right approach to this. So no big failures in terms of affecting ROI, but every business has its failures, so nothing jumps off the page to me. But yeah.
Okay. No, I understand. And then, so where does the majority of your traffic come from then? Is most of it coming from organic search, or are you running a few ads to the websites as well?
Yeah, honestly, almost all of it is organic search, which is good because I don't like to have to rely too much on ad revenue, and I feel like it can be kind of up in the air and get hyper competitive and the returns are small. So I have a couple ads on Bing that I created months ago that kind of just running in the background. And to be honest, paid advertising isn't really my forte. I don't have a lot of experience there. So I just kind of forgot about it. And it brings me some clicks, but I think 94% of all my traffic is organic. So and if you acquire this site and then forget about it for a month, it would run itself. You might have a couple of things to update from partners when you check your email a month later, but it really is about as automated as it can get at this point.
Mm-hmm. So what is it now that you're doing in terms of marketing? I noticed, you have a few of the social media profiles set up already. Are you utilizing those for marketing, or most of it just coming from SEO?
The majority of it's coming from SEO. So those channels, they exist. They don't do anything for generating any sort of significant leads, or probably any leads at this point. But I do think that there is value in it for someone that is willing to utilize them and knows that world. Same for paid spend. I think there's untapped potential there. I just know my strength wasn't in those areas. And so I chose to focus on organic search and my SEO rankings. But I do think they can be utilized, especially, I think there's a lot of other opportunities on the site too. Some of the top of funnel content and, capturing emails and getting people in a funnel to convert down the road. A lot of the stuff that I'm actually ranking for is the hardest to rank for. And then some of the other leads are just leads you need to nurture through, advertising or social or, the various other channels that weren't my expertise. So I didn't focus on those.
Okay. Yeah, that makes total sense. And then hypothetically speaking, Brett, if you were to keep this business, what are some of the ways that you would try and grow it?
Yeah, I would look for additional partners. I think there's always a large number of smaller players in the affiliate space that are trying to get involved that want to get their foot in the door with the big brands and are willing to pay higher commissions. I've done that, with a number of partners that now I have relationships with now, but not any time in the last several months. So I would do that first and foremost. I think I would add an email capture on the homepage offering some sort of, tips and tricks or something to capture people's email and then put them in a sales funnel of some sort. I don't do anything to nurture some of the top of funnel users that come to my site. I think that's a mistake on my part. I haven't focused or taken the time to do that. What else would I do? I'd see if there's additional niches that I could get involved in, if it would make sense with the overall content of the site. And then I would definitely hire someone, or if I was the buyer who had a background in PPC, I would definitely get involved in paid advertising. I think more so than social. I'm sure social has some value to it, but I think there's definitely room in the paid advertising to generate additional revenue and have a good ROI on that. So those are just a few of the things I do.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And, running a few targeted ads within this specific sub niche that you're in, I think could really pay off in the long run for potential investors. And so could you go into a little bit of detail on some of the typical tasks or work that you're performing on the business at this time on a weekly basis?
Yeah, and just to touch base on the paid spend, one more thing is like a lot of my partners, a couple of them have mentioned that, they don't mind if I'm running ads where their company may or may not show up because they know that my site is going to help bring users and ultimately convert users over to, without getting too specific, to the whatever I'm promoting on my site. And so there's a huge opportunity that the partners would like as well for whoever gets this site to run paid ads as well. But in terms of day-to-day activities on the site, like I said, it's pretty much set it and forget it. Back when I was creating content quite a bit, year ago or so, year and a half ago, all my contractors were through Upwork. So just checking Upwork and making sure that they understand the assignments that I created for them. I did all the SEO research myself, what keywords to include, how long should it be, how do we break it down? And then I'd let them write it. Right now, I haven't been writing anything in the last 6 months. So right now, my day-to-day is check my email, make sure my partners have everything they need. They send me something to update on the site. I'll do that. I'll probably, I'll get a couple of those a day max, probably 5 to 10 of those a week. And then just make sure the site's up and running. It doesn't crash. At this point, that's all I'm really doing. But like I said, there's tons of opportunity to grow it. I just, my heart's not in it anymore.
Okay, no, I understand. And so do you feel that there's maybe a specific skill set that someone should already have prior to acquiring this asset? Or do you feel like most of it can be managed and figured out within the transition period?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a basic understanding of digital marketing, the affiliate model and how that works, and WordPress is necessary to be able to run this. If someone has a team or were to hire someone, I guess you could do it that way. But outside of that, there's no high level of expertise that's needed. There's a lot of opportunity that you could manage and hire out to other people to build the site further. But just a basic understanding of the affiliate space, how SEO works, and how digital marketing works as a whole, I think that's pretty much all that's required.
Okay. So what do you feel are some of the biggest risks associated with this business?
Yeah, the affiliate space, when you're working with partners, obviously, you have commission rates with them, and they are subject to change at the whims, I guess, of some of these companies. The companies that I work closest with, we've only grown and increased those commissions. They understand the value that I bring, that the SEO value that my sites hold. And so that's never happened to me with any of my main partners. But that is an inherent risk in the affiliate space, and the biggest one that I would say there is.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's, when you're in close ties with the affiliate partners and, having that as the main source of revenue that's generated from your traffic, it's important to keep those relationships strong. And, are you willing going forward, Brett, to sign a non-compete, meaning any projects or future businesses you start down the road, you'll stay out of this specific niche?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have anything even closely related to these sites, and I don't have any plans to, I would sign a non-compete. That's not a problem at all. So.
Oh, that's great to hear. And then now, how much support are you willing to offer potential buyers? Are you going with the typical 30 days of email and Skype support, or did you have something in addition you would like to add on to that?
Yeah, I mean, the 30 days is ideal. I think I put 2 Skype calls on my initial kind of walkthrough with Empire Flippers, but also, if they needed an additional call or 2, I'd be willing to work with them. I'm not trying to leave anyone high and dry. I want the site to succeed. It's kind of my baby. And so anything I can do to help ease the transition process and make sure that's the case, I'm willing to have more than a couple Skype calls. So yeah, that's kind of my thinking.
Well, it's really great to hear. And I'm sure any potential buyers that are doing their due diligence on this business can see the value and the support you're willing to offer as well. Now, Brett, are you open to negotiating something like an earnout where you'll receive a large portion of the sales price up front and then smaller payments closing out the deal several months after that?
I don't like closing doors before I see the details of it. I think cash up front is obviously preferable. I think it makes the most sense for me. Earnout structures, in most cases, I don't like the structure of those generally, but I don't want to close any doors before I see terms. So if that's something a buyer was interested in, I could look at it.
Oh, it's great to hear. That's something that's open for discussions at a later time. And then just now a few more sideline questions for you, Brett. Was there anyone who inspired you while you were building this business that our listeners might like as well?
Obviously, I've been inspired. My family's in entrepreneurship and various verticals, and I've been inspired by them and just kind of how they run businesses and grow their businesses and treat the people that they work with, whether it's partners or employees. And so that was an inspiration to me. And then I consume a lot of self-improvement podcasts, not necessarily business people. So I'm not sure that's entirely relevant here, but Tim Ferriss is a big one, kind of how to scale your business and ditch the 9 to 5. He's probably a favorite that I'd recommend.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you as well. I traveled and backpacked all through Asia with his book, and that was the one hardback book I had in my luggage the entire trip. So yeah, no, I completely agree.
I would say that's probably the book that kind of transformed my mindset and got me into this. So 5-hour work week, everybody.
Yeah, right there with you on that. And now, what advice would you give to our listeners that you wish you knew when you started this business?
I don't know if I have a great answer. I was going to say take the long view, but that's something I've really been cognizant of and trying to do from the beginning. I would just say that know that every experiment you do is not going to work. Every partner that you try something with that you bring on board may not convert as high as you want. Just never put your expectations or count your chickens before they hatch, whatever that saying is, and just continually be okay with small failures. I try to take asymmetrical risks. So something that is a small failure, but if it fails, it'll be small, but if it succeeds, it'll be big. And being okay with as many of those small failures as possible. So when you do hit on one thing, it outweighs all of the failures that happened previously. So that, I guess, would be my advice.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that as well. And, was there any software or tools that helped you at the start of managing this asset?
Yeah, I've used a number of SEO tools. I don't subscribe to them anymore. I can kind of do what I need in analytics, but tracking your keywords on an individual basis. I did that at first a long time ago with something called SERPFox. If there's certain keywords that you really care about and you're trying to increase your SEO on those certain keywords, then that's a good one. But more broadly, some of the big tools that a lot of people use and that I've used in the past is SEMrush, Ahrefs, and Screaming Frog. Screaming Frog is, for some of the more technical stuff and making sure that everything checks out and Google's crawling your site correctly. Those are the 3 that I probably use the most.
Yeah, no, it's very valuable information. And what was the one you mentioned earlier? You said SERPFox?
Yeah, SERP Fox.
Okay.
It's a really simple tool. If you're looking to just really track a few keywords and focus on those, then it does a good job of mapping your progress on that over time.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll have to look into that, and I'm sure our listeners can, get the value out of that as well, doing a little bit of research on SERPFox. Now, why do you think that this business model is great for those who are interested in getting started in online business?
The affiliate model?
Yeah, affiliate or even with Amazon Associates as well.
Yeah, I think affiliate is a better long-term play than Amazon Associates because you can take the rates. The Amazon Associates I have on is only on my smaller site as part of this 2-site package, to be clear. I wouldn't, be saying it's my main point of revenue, but because you can dictate your terms and negotiate with your partners, the affiliate space is a lot more valuable. Mm-hmm. But I think it's the place to be for anyone that's really trying to get away from a 9-to-5, their desk job, and because it can be as hands-off as you want it to. You can do it from anywhere in the world. And, I traveled a bit when I did this. I went to Southeast Asia as well. So I'm right there with you. But I think that's the appeal for a lot of people nowadays. And it's a great way to have kind of that residual income with minimal upkeep. So you can kind of your life in the most optimized, perfect way that you want to live it. You don't have tons of strings attached.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And it's something that's always fascinated me as well about, not only affiliate space, but just content space in general. Yeah, so that's really great, valuable information as well. And, one last question to wrap this up, Brett. Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you feel that your business is worth buying?
Yeah, I do think there's a huge opportunity for growth for a buyer that is willing to add the items that I mentioned before, utilize social channels, add email capture, and really nurture top of funnel users, look for additional partners. I think, I've grown it to a place where I recognize that my expertise has been utilized. And if I had the expertise in those other areas to grow it further, I would, but I'd rather hand it off because I do want it to continue to grow to the right buyer who can take it and transform it and make it into a name brand at this point and take it to that next level where everyone knows what it is.
Yeah, no, it's really great. And I'm sure any of the potential buyers that are listening to this call can really, take advantage of that opportunity and make the adjustments that you had mentioned earlier and capitalize on this asset. Now, that pretty much wraps up our call, Brett. Was there anything else that you'd like to share that I might have missed?
No, I don't think so, Brandon. I appreciate you taking the time and look forward to, anyone's interested in the site, talking to them and giving more details.
Yeah, no, definitely. Just from looking in the back end, I've seen, really great progress in the business in general and, looking forward to getting this listing sold for you here in the near future.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Brandon.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it as well. And all right, everyone. So thanks for listening. To learn more and to see if this listing is sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 47639. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.